Good evening. How are you today?
Good evening. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine, great. So let's proceed directly with today's session, which will be about listening part of the test, which the material that we've got here in our hands. Listening test. So as you can see in front of you, this will be the listening or question paper that you're going to get in the real exam. And you're not allowed to use it until you've been told to. In occupational English test, the listening test, we have three parts, as you know, part A, B, and C. Of course, difficulty will be from part A to part B, and then part C will be the most difficult one. In each part, you will hear a number of different extracts. So, all at the start of each extract, you'll hear the sound beep. You will have time to read questions before you hear the extract. About 30 minutes. You will hear each extract once only, so it will not be repeated again. And of course, the time for this test is 40 minutes time. So you have to listen, read, and answer at the same time. And this is where it lies the difficulty. Why it's difficult? Because you have to use more than one skill at the same time. At the end of the test, you'll have 2 minutes to check your answer and review the spelling, especially in gaps completion, which is in part A. So let's start now with part A. In this part of the test, you will hear two different extracts. In each extract, a health professional is talking to a patient. How can I answer this part of the questions here? We have questions from 1 to 24, and is asking you to complete the notes with information that you hear. So in this one, what I want you to know and pay attention to, that the answer will become from the patient.
Okay.
So the patient will say the answers. You need not the medical professional.
Okay.
But you need to listen to the doctor or the medical professional because he will guide you through the case notes. He will tell you where we are, and you will go with him. For example, he's saying now we talked about medication. Let's talk about your diet. So the doctor will only guide you to which point we are going to, but the answers will become mainly from the patient in part A. Let's have a look at these questions here. Questions from 1 to 12. So here, of course, this part here is very important, the introduction here, or the notes that we have in the test. So mainly here we have a physiotherapist. Of course, before playing the audio, you'll have about 30 seconds. Try to scan as much as you can of the text in front of you. As you can see here, you will find plenty of text in front of you. Okay, but don't panic. You'll just need to scan them, know the general topics about them. Here we have a physiotherapist talking to a patient. One more time, we need to concentrate on the patient to get our answers here. Called Ray Sands. So this is the patient's name. Complete the notes with a word or short phrase. As we said, could be 2 or 3 words that you hear. You may have 30 seconds to look at the note, and these 30 seconds are very important to try to predict the answers during these 30 seconds. For example, here, back injury sustained, lifting. So, what do you think 18 months ago? What do you think the answer here could be?
When he was lifting something.
It could be a name, a noun, or adjective, adverb, a verb.
Now.
Mainly will be a noun, and this will be a good help. So let's proceed to second one. Patient description of symptoms. So here, being located in,
Also now.
being described as,
Adjective.
mostly will be an adjective. That's right. Mention inability to,
Verb.
it's a verb, and it will be in infinitive form.
Yes.
Sensation coughs,
Adverb.
mainly will be an adverb, something like that. Occupation,
Noun.
it's noun, and it's a job here. And then application of,
Drug. The name of medicine.
name of a drug, okay. And referrals,
It will be like the action or the side effect of the drug.
all right.
I'm not sure.
And then 9, 10, 11, 12, this is what we should do. Try to predict which part of the speech we are going to listening to. Think of a word that fits the sentence. To guess the word, you should think both metaphorically, which is about the meaning, okay, and of course grammatically, as we said and as we did right now, which part of speech we should suspect. Try to scan the text in front of you as much as you can before the audio starts in 30 seconds. Try again to expect and wait for the word you need. Of course, in some cases, you should expect hearing a synonym for the word that we need, or hearing the same meaning in other words. This is also could be expected. Not necessarily the word, exactly the word, but how we say things in different words. Like, for example, using simple expressions because we are listening to a patient, okay? So expect that you are going to listen simple expressions instead of medical terms, right? Use guide posts here. Use titles and keywords to guide you if you get lost. So, for example, during the audio, when the audio was playing, I got lost somewhere. So, these main words, these keywords, these main sub titles here we have, okay, this will guide you to get back again and not to get lost. There will be a statement that does not have a gap, giving you the chance to catch up. As you can find here, these are giving to you to give you time to catch up if you got lost, and you'll find it here also. So this is to help you. And here, one more time, this part, and then you will go to question 13 to 24, the end of extract. Difficulty comes from using more than one skill at the same time, as we said, as you're listening, reading, and writing at the same time, writing down the answers at the same time. And this is really requires a lot of practice. So to master listening mainly, and to master using your listening, reading, and writing ability, you must do a lot of practice for the listening part. Now let's practice part A. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now I will play the audio and I want you to guess or tell me what is the answer for point 1, 2, 3, and so on.
Occupational English test. Sample test 1. Listening test. This test has 3 parts. In each part, you'll hear a number of different extracts. At the start of each extract, you'll hear this sound. You'll have time to read the questions before you hear each extract, and you'll hear each extract once only. Complete your answers as you listen. At the end of the test, you'll have 2 minutes to check your answers. Part A. In this part of the test, you'll hear 2 different extracts. In each extract, a health professional is talking to a patient. For questions 1 to 24, complete the notes with information you hear. Now look at the notes for extract 1. Extract 1, questions 1 to 12. You hear a physiotherapist talking to a new patient called Ray Sands. For questions 1 to 12, complete the notes with a word or short phrase. You now have 30 seconds to look at the notes.
Come in. It's Mr. Sands, isn't it?
That's right, Ray Sands.
Now, I think you've been referred to me because you're suffering from sciatica.
That's right. Not for the first time, actually.
Okay, well, I've got some notes here, but perhaps you can tell me in your own words about any previous bouts of sciatica you've had, what treatment you had, what worked for you, anything else you can remember.
Righto. Well, it's all started when I hurt my back, about 18 months ago now.
Okay.
I was giving somebody a hand with a heavy suitcase and I felt it go, you know.
Suitcase. Lifting suitcase.
A suitcase or a heavy suitcase or a case.
Okay.
As you can see here, we have connected information 18 months ago, as he said on the audio. Let's continue.
Okay.
Oof, just like that. Anyway, I slowly got over that, despite occasional flare-ups, and then, out of the blue, about a year ago, sciatica developed. And it was 6 months till that finally cleared up altogether. Now it's come back in the last month or so, I'd say.
I see. And your GP said it was sciatica?
Yeah, I had this pain all the way down my right leg, and she said the real problem was in my back, because the sciatic...
Located in right leg.
That's right.
Nerve was getting trapped.
Right.
I mean, I'm telling you, this was no ordinary pain. It was really intense.
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 Number
To
3.
the extent that I couldn't stand for very long, couldn't walk hardly any distance, I couldn't sleep. I mean, the most frustrating bit for me was that I couldn't even turn over in bed. It just hurt so much. I just couldn't get comfortable. Do you know what I mean?
I couldn't. Number 4. I couldn't catch it.
Inability to turn over in bed or get comfortable. Here we have 2 answers. If you answered any one of them, will be right.
Sometimes I'd have, a sort of tingling feeling in my calves.
Tingling feeling.
And
Tingling.
the word here is sensation.
Yeah, so we just use tingling, right?
Tingling. Tingling sensation, which is tingling feelings.
As well.
Right.
But then at other times, my whole leg just felt a bit numb, really. It was weird. And of course, I couldn't go to work. I'm an events organizer, so I travel about a lot.
Event organizer? That's what he said.
Yes, that's right. Events organizer. He's an event organizer. Or if you wrote event organizer, that will be also right.
Oh, sorry, can you scroll up? Initial treatment? For me, it's showing from application.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Setting things up for conferences, lugging stuff around, you know. And so there was no way I could manage any of that at the state I was in.
Okay, so how was this treated?
Well, in the first instance, I was given painkillers, obviously. Ibuprofen, as far as I can remember.
Right.
And I was told to put compression packs on.
Ibuprofen is the drug. Application of, and he also mentioned compression something.
Compression packs.
Compression packs, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And this is the answer here. The application of compression packs.
The affected area. I mean, that did ease the pain a little, but I was still housebound, practically speaking.
Okay.
Then the GP sent me to see an osteopath.
osteopath referrals?
That's right. An osteopath.
And I got some treatment there, but it didn't seem to make much difference.
Right.
So I was referred to a sports injury specialist, of all things. And he did a number of things that did seem to ease things a little, like working on my spine and lower legs. Oh, and he gave me a set of exercises to do at home.
I see. Any other treatment?
Oh, yeah, I almost forgot. There was this course of injections, and I went for various other therapies, like ultrasound.
Ultrasound?
Yes.
And another one where they do, well, they use like electrical impulses. I can't remember exactly what it's called.
Okay.
At one point, I even considered acupuncture, but by then, the other...
Something puncture.
Acupuncture.
Acupuncture?
Yes.
I don't know how to write it, honestly. The acu. The puncture, I know. But I should check that also.
He decided to try acupuncture.
I added E after the U, so it will be wrong for me. Okay.
things were beginning to take effect and the symptoms were subsiding, so I gave it a miss.
So, which of these various treatments do you feel was most effective? What made the difference?
Well, I couldn't say for certain because it all went on for 4 months without much improvement, really. Then it wasn't until suddenly in the 5th month, things changed quite dramatically. So to be honest with you, I think it was the combination of treatments.
The combination treatment?
Yes, combination of treatments. The certain one.
Gradually taking effect and coming together rather than one single thing making the difference.
Okay. And did anyone ever talk to you about what might be causing the problem?
Well, I think everyone assumed that a slipped disc was behind it all, but was never actually confirmed.
So?
Slipped disc?
Lipped.
Lipped disc.
Herniated or slipped. If you wrote herniated, it's okay. If you wrote the exact word of the patient, this also will be okay. Also will be right. Slipped disc. So this is the end of questions here, 12, and you've got it all right. And of course, we know already that you will not have any problem in part A, and mostly also in part B. And we'll see how to tackle part B after that. But let's continue first with the extract 2. One more time, extract 2 will be the same. It's a patient and health professional, and we will get the answers one more time from the patient himself.
It's also part A, right?
About what?
It's also part A?
Part A, yes. The second,
Okay.
we have 2 extracts here.
All right.
Part A. And they are both the same. It's a health professional and the patient.
Okay.
Confirmed as that. I mean, I know there is this other condition where you get a lot of pain in the buttocks, but that wasn't my experience.
Okay.
Of course, after you finished the entering the part A or the extract 1, if we have time like this one here, the audio is still going, we don't have to pay attention for that. We can use this time to look again one more time to the text in extract 2. So let's try to guess again, metaphorically and grammatically, what is the word here in the first one?
Now, for example, maybe on the surface or on the top of his left hand.
That's right,
Something like that.
or on the palm of his left hand. So mainly we have here, we will have a name and a noun because we have an article, a definite article that preceded by
Maybe moving, lifting something.
verb, and a verb with ing, and then
A verb also.
mostly, and after that Lentionnaise
Noun.
17, his
Noun.
also will be a part of a body, yeah, part of his body, not becoming more
Adjective.
adverb, not an adverb.
Adverb.
Yes, it will be an adverb. And 19,
Maybe anxiety or stress, something like that. No, sorry, adverb. I'm confused between adverb and adjective and all.
right. 20,
That verb located on the. Sorry.
mm,
Yeah. Verb.
right. One more time here, we have off, will be followed with a noun, with ing, something like that. And 22, advice,
Noun.
all right. And then 23 is,
Adjective.
this one will be, mostly will be a past participle.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because the sentence here is the passive one. So, and then in 24, we also have, mostly we'll have a noun because we have indefinite article A.
Yeah.
So we use the time given to us, looking to the extract and extract. Let's continue.
And did anyone talk to you about aspects of your lifestyle that might be contributing to the problem?
Well, I remember actually there was one of
I'm sorry, I don't hear anything.
Extract 2.
Okay.
This was the rest of extract 1.
Okay.
As we said, we still have time. Let's continue with extract 2.
24. You hear a consultant dermatologist talking to a patient called Jake Ventor. For questions 13 to 24, complete the notes with a word or short phrase. You now have 30 seconds to look at the notes.
Jake Ventor, please come in and take a seat.
Thanks.
Okay, now I understand from your GP that you've got a problem with your hand.
Yes, I went to see you a couple of weeks ago because of a sore on my left hand. I've had it for years, but not all the while. You know, it appears, then it gets better, then it comes back. It's here on the palm. It's almost gone now.
So,
Palm.
the palm.
But she wasn't sure what it was, so she said I'd better see a dermatologist. She took a photo. Did you get that?
I did, yes. So tell me about the condition, how it feels, and...
Well, I always know when I'm going to get it because I have this itching beforehand.
Itching?
Before, yes, he said itching. Preceded by before.
Right.
I wake up at night wanting to scratch the area, though I try to stop myself. Then a few hours later, I get one or two little blisters.
So then,
Blisters.
or little blisters, as he said. Here we have one more time to relax and get back to the text again.
I'm sorry, number 14.
Yes.
Was it itching
Itching, yeah,
or?
itching.
Okay.
It all feels a bit hot. The skin around it goes red. When I showed this to the doctor, she used the word chaotic to describe it. Anyway.
Chaotic.
Chaotic.
It gradually dries up and I get a scab. Then after about 2 weeks, that falls off and there's just a little red patch, but you can see that.
Okay.
I've been getting it for years. I actually got it the first time when I was in China in the 1990s. I had a job there for a couple of years before I came back here. That first time, I also had a similar sore on my chest, but
Chest. On his chest.
But the one on my hand, that comes back every year or so, but never in exactly the same place. I thought it had sorted itself out because I didn't get it for a couple of years, but then it came back. So there's no pattern. It's not getting more frequent or anything.
More frequent.
More frequent.
And it doesn't seem linked to anything in my daily life. Like it doesn't seem to happen when I'm run down, for example, or because of anything in my diet, or if I'm under a lot of pressure at work.
Diet.
Diet, maybe pressure of work, something like that.
Diet in his daily life, like pressure.
Work, that kind of thing. So the doctor thought you needed to have a look. Also because I had a malignant melanoma on my back that was removed in 2006.
Right.
It was at quite an early stage and it hadn't got too deep.
Okay, well, that's good. Still, I'll just have a look at your back.
Can you scroll up, please?
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
No, I said, can you scroll up, please?
This
I'm
one.
not seeing 20, yes.
Medical history.
He said myoma, I think. I couldn't see, like...
Removal of melanoma, or melanoma. Removal of.
Melanoma.
But the one on my hand, that comes back every year or so, but never in exactly the same place. I thought it had sorted itself out because I didn't get it for a couple of years, but then it came back. So there's no pattern. It's not getting more to anything, and it doesn't seem linked to anything in my daily life. Like it doesn't seem to happen when I'm run down, for example, or because of anything in my diet, or if I'm under a lot of pressure at work, that kind of thing. So the doctor thought you needed to have a look. Also because I had a malignant melanoma on my back that was removed in 2006.
Right.
It was at quite an early stage and it hadn't got too deep.
Okay, well, that's good. Still, I'll just have a look at your back. Was it down here?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Well, yeah, that all looks absolutely fine. Well, I don't think you need to worry about anything sinister here. By the way, have you ever had cold sores?
No, never. But I did wonder if this thing on my hand was something like that. In fact, I wanted to ask you about that.
So here, reports history, no history of cold sores.
Cold sores, yeah.
Information giving advice that
An antiviral cream you can. Linked to anything in my daily life, like it doesn't seem to happen when I'm run down, for example, or because of anything in my diet, or if I'm under a lot of pressure at work, that kind of thing. So the doctor thought you needed to have a look. Also because I had a malignant melanoma on my back that was removed in 2006.
Right.
It was at quite an early stage and it hadn't got too deep.
Okay, well, that's good. Still, I'll just have a look at your back. Was it down here?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Well, yeah, that all looks absolutely fine. Well, I don't think you need to worry about anything sinister here. By the way, have you ever had cold sores?
No, never. But I did wonder if this thing on my hand was something like that. In fact, I wanted to ask you about that. There's an antiviral cream you can use, isn't there?
Antiviral?
To stop them developing. I wondered if you could prescribe me something like that.
Look, the trouble is these work well on the mouth because the skin's very thin there, but I'm afraid they won't have any effect in your...
the skin is,
Thin?
he said very thin, or
case because the skin on your hand's so much thicker.
Oh, I see. Well, something else that worries me is whether there's a chance of infection. Should I be covering the place up?
No, you don't need to unless there's broken skin.
Right, good.
It's fine.
And it's not actually having an impact on my quality of life or anything like that. It's something I can live with. I mean, I have done for all these years.
Okay, so really the reason you went to the doctor after all these years was just to see if there was any way we could prevent this happening.
Yeah.
Okay, well, at this stage, the best thing to do is organise a biopsy. It might be a bit uncomfortable, but it means we can rule certain...
so
Biopsy.
biopsy. That's right. So in part A, it will be easy and direct and simple. And as we said, we should pay attention to what the patient is saying, and if we got lost, and this is what's important, we can refer back to the subtitles here, which will guide us which part the audio is going to. Now, what we need to do now, I need you to practice part A more and more and more, because part A will help you tackle part B and part C. The important skill that you need to practice is using the skills of reading, listening, and writing at the same time. Right?
Right.
Okay. Then you'll have part. In this part of the test, this time you will have 6 different extracts. So it's clear that we have another difficult or more difficult part B than part A. In each extract, you'll hear people talking in different healthcare settings. For question to 25, of course, part B and part C is multiple choice question. Part A is a sentence completion. So here you need to choose the answer A, B, or C. And circle your answer like this one. Mark it like this one here. Circle in completely. Pay attention to circle completely, not a part of it. Read each question. You have time to read each question before you listen. Complete your answers as you listen. As you can see, also here, we will have first one. Now look at question 25. He's giving here your question 25. Here we have this type. Pay attention to what I'm going to say right now. Yeah. So here we have a question with a question mark. So this type of question is a direct question. While if you looked here at 26, for example, we have an incomplete sentence. If you need to know that this part or this kind of questions is more difficult than this one. So the direct questions are easier to deal with. Okay, this is the first piece of information that we should get. Now, what we need to know and how can we tackle this kind of questions here in part B. Let's see how we can deal with it first before going to the test itself. First, we need to know or answer what's the context of the listening that we're listening to. And also we need to know who will speak. This will guide us through the talking. These two questions. It could be two people or one person. So in this kind of question could be two people. Also, we could have only one person, not necessarily to two people talking to each other. So we can expect this also. Two, as I told you, read the question carefully and then try to burn the question into your head, into your mind. This one is very critical. This one is very important. Burn the question into your head, into your mind. Like, let's get back to this example again. Yeah. So, when reading this one in the 30 seconds before listening here, you will hear a nurse briefing her colleague about a patient. So, now this is a context. A nurse, colleague, a patient, about a patient. They are talking about the patient. The question here, what does she warn her colleague about? So, when reading this one, burn it into your head while listening. Like, what does she warn her colleague? What does she warn her colleague about? What does she warn her colleague about? Warn him about what? Warn him about what? Warn him about what? So, you'll have three options, which you need to choose only one of them. I want you to expect that you may hear these three options. Okay, we are not expecting to hear only one. No, we were mostly going to hear to the three. This is why part B is more difficult than part A.
Yes.
You will not listen to the question, you will be given time to read it. So this question will be not in the audio, okay? But you will be given time to read the first question. Yeah. Scan and try to find and reduce the question into a couple of keywords. As we said, like burning it into your head. She warns him about what? She warns him about what? Something like that.
Okay.
This is enough to read the question. The time is enough to read the question and the answer options twice. So, again, the time given to you will be enough for you to read this question and burn it into your head and read the answer options, three of them, twice.
How much time will be given? Like
Yeah.
how many seconds? How much time will be given for each question? For
Right.
example, for 25.
Here, look. Let's play part 2 and see how much time in practical.
Okay.
Part B. In this part of the test, you'll hear 6 different extracts. In each extract, you'll hear people talking in a different healthcare setting. For questions 25 to 30, choose the answer A, B, or C, which fits best according to what you hear. You'll have time to read each question before you listen. Complete your answers as you listen. Now look at question 25. You hear a nurse briefing her colleague about a patient. Now read the question.
Mrs. Green was admitted last night for pneumonia. She came in yesterday with a cough, fever, dizziness and chest discomfort. She's a healthy 60-year-old with a history of right knee replacement 5 years ago. She's on a regular diet and has no allergies. She's at high risk for falls due to her dizziness. We changed her IV antibiotics to oral, which she's tolerating well. Her assessment is within normal limits, except for some mild shortness of breath and wheezing. Her vital signs are stable, oxygen saturation is 98% on 1 litre, and she's been comfortable during my shift. Around 5:30, I gave her 2 paracetamol for minor pain, with good results. She has an 18 gauge in her left arm. She's got normal saline at 15 mils per hour.
Okay.
She said she's in risk of fall, so I would choose B.
Thank you very much. And this is the right answer, B. So the time given to you before the audio starts again would be enough for you to read the question and the choices twice or at least once if you are a slow reader.
Yeah, I'm slow.
It's okay, never mind. So practice reading, scanning and skimming the text will help you a lot to read it twice. And if you manage to do it, this will be great. So the difficulty on about the listening test or the listening part of OET test is only to master the skill of using listening, reading, and writing at the same time. That's it. In this party, which is part 2, is scanning and skimming. Again, it's very, very important to burn the question, shorten the question into keywords and burn these keywords into your head. When the audio starts, keep the question keywords in your mind, not the answer option. All the options will be mentioned, as we said, and mostly in negative context or in wrong context. Choose the answer quickly, as you only have 5 seconds before the second one. So the second one will start only 5 seconds after you choose and mark your answer.
Okay.
Okay? So let's try the second one. 26.
Question 26. You hear the manager of a care home for the elderly talking to the nursing staff. Now read the question.
Medication patients usually result from interruptions while calculating dosages, failure to check the patient's allergies, administrating drugs late in the day. So allergy late. Okay.
Now, a quick word about the administration of medication. It's great to see how carefully you're all following the new guidelines, and thanks to this, error rates, which were always below average anyhow here, have dropped by 40%. The surveys we've done also throw up some interesting findings, like mistakes being more common in the morning than afternoons or evenings. We're not sure why, but there's a clear pattern. Also, we know that being disturbed for any reason while working out and preparing doses is a common reason for mistakes. So please, try and avoid distracting your colleagues while they're doing this. Finally, we must be on the lookout for drug interactions, side effects, and patient sensitivities. Fortunately, we haven't had too many problems of this nature, but the care needs of the vast majority of our residents are often quite complex.
I would choose A.
Thank you very much. This is right. So the answer here will be A. That's right. So this is how to tackle part A and part B. On our next session, we will see how to tackle the most difficult part and also we'll practice it together, which is part C. So now I will end this session and I'll send you two tests, two listening tests with the audio. I want you to do part A and part B for both of them.
All right.
Do not try to do part C until our next session, okay?
Okay.
That's it. Let's practice part A and part C.
And part B. Okay.
Thank you. This is going to be it. We'll continue the next session, inshallah. Have a nice evening, and I'll see you on next Thursday.
Inshallah. Thank you so much. You too. Have a nice evening.
Thank you. Same to you.
Take care. Bye-bye.